Hello, everyone.
Hello and happy Wednesday. What do they call it? Hump Day on Wednesday, I believe.
Happy Hump Day.
Happy Hump Day, yeah. It means something very different in the UK. I hope you're all doing well and you're surviving the COVID madness. And today we're going to talk about something, actually, to be honest, that's meaningful for both of us, but also often people that we talk to, coaches that we speak to. And that is about the word no. What it means to us, what happens when we hear it, how can it hold us back? But more importantly, I don't know about you, Lisa, but for me, this is about not necessarily a reframe, but what I know can actually be the best thing to hear as a coach. It can be a really, really good thing for you to hear, you and your business as a coach.
Say more about that, Sam.
Yeah,
so people will be listening going, I don't want to hear a no. No, it's not going to make me any money. No. What are you on about?
No. Yeah, so I mean, this for us, this is in relation to when we're working within our business and we are, for example, connecting with people, inviting people into conversation, or proposing to people in terms of asking or creating a coaching package together and whether we're going to work together. Why are you smiling at me?
I don't know.
So often what can happen is if we are going to assume that somebody's going to say the word no, and that can stop us from taking action, but not just because of the word no, but what that word means to us. And I know in the past, for me and many people I've spoken to, not so much anymore, and we'll go into a bit of a story in a minute about, because we were laughing about this the other day, weren't we? How I used to see no as a rejection. So, and I was scared of rejection because I used to take it personally and I thought it meant something about me. So if I would invite somebody to a conversation, for example, and they would say no, it's like, oh God, what does that mean about me? And I would take it personally. But what I started to see is the more I did that, I started to get some yeses. I started to hear some yeses, and I started to see that no isn't personal at all. It's just a word. And most often it doesn't mean no at all. It just means not yet, which is an important distinction to make.
I wrote a few things down when we talked about what we wanted to talk about just now. And a few things that came to my head. I didn't write this one down, but just off the back of what you were sharing now, it can feel really personal. And if we take that away, it can be really valuable feedback. If we don't have that feel so painful for us, and instead we look at what is in here, because it might be like if you've had 50 conversations with people and you've had 50 no's, we might want to look at what's happening inside those conversations, what's happening before you enter into those conversations. How are you finishing those conversations? Like there might be some really simple changes that you can make that would take a no into a yes. So the no is good because it can be really valuable feedback for us to do, like a reflection activity, but coming from a useful exercise to do, not this is something to beat myself up with. Like dropping the judgments and the taking it personally, and just having it be like feedback.
Yeah, totally. And that's, I think what you said there, Lisa, is exactly what helps to grow the business, because we stop being afraid of the personal stuff, because like we talked about, and that's what we talk about a lot with our school as well, it's like that who we're being and how we're experiencing those things is often the very thing that is between us and creating the business. Yeah. And I love that you've highlighted that. It's so important.
But you can have some really rich conversations with your coach. We have rich conversations with each other. So if we get a no, it's like the conversation now isn't about, taking it personally, give ourselves a hard time. It's around, what are we really seeing in this? Is there anything we would want to do differently? What would need to happen inside that other person for them to want to do this? Is it just that the desire is not there? Have we done enough to move the needle? So we can really look to see, is there anything that we might want to do? And we can learn so much. It's like, oh yeah, I really wasn't grounded when I said that figure, or I lost sight of service and got into convincing mode. And again, it's like not looking at it from a judgmental point of view, but just from a growth point of view. Because this is the thing, it's gonna get messy. No matter where you're at, it's whether you're a new coach or an experienced coach and you're putting your fees up or you're starting to work with bigger groups, whatever it looks like, it's going to be a moment where you're learning something new and it's going to start to feel messy. So I don't know, just like accept it, being in acceptance of that and inviting that in, being willing to do it anyway and just practice.
Yeah.
Like, it can feel different if you're having a really uncomfortable experience of no, there's a different experience available for you.
Yeah, and we were sharing it the other day, weren't we, how, and we were reflecting on it, because creating the event that we've got going on tomorrow, which we'll talk about in a minute, but the event in our school, we were going to get a lot of no's, we're going to hear a lot of no's, but how that, it kind of just stopped landing anymore. It's just perfectly acceptable and okay. And that didn't come through lots of deep inner work and coaching. It came through just the experience of hearing the word no. And that actually there isn't anything scary in it. There's nothing painful in it. There's nothing in it other than just a word. Like you said, and information, really, really valuable information that we can take from it.
Yeah.
So I think what I would ask you guys listening is, you know, what is, if it's true for you, what is the fear of hearing the word no stopping you doing? What's it stopping you stepping into? What would no fear of that allow you to go and do differently? And just to have a chance to think about that and reflect on it and share it with us. Love to hear your stories and where you're at with it. And offer some coaching around it if it's something that would be helpful to you. So put it in the comments if you've got anything on that.
I have a few more things to share as well, because I've gone off piste and not said anything that I wrote down and just completely improvised.
I must admit, I've done a little bit similar.
So some of the things that I noted were similar to what we've talked about, but a question to take away. What are you making this mean about you? Get your journal out, write it down. Like, don't have this again just be information. You can do this work starting now. What am I making it mean about me? Next question was, how long does it knock you off track for? Because that's going to be the difference between the coaches that kind of stay in the business and make money and the coaches who don't. Like, if you're spending a lot of time having that feel really personal and get lost in that experience and that story, which takes you out of action, you're going to grow your business a lot slower than someone who has policies in place for themselves, like that it's not going to derail me for long. And I actually have like a post-it note on my wall, and I saw this it was another coach actually that posted this, and I just loved it. It said, you cannot be derailed when you keep your intention intentional and you are constantly creating what you want. And I just love that. So it was like, that's going up on my wall. So it doesn't matter how many no's I hear. It's like, I cannot be derailed unless I choose to let myself. If I know exactly how to create clients and I'm doing it, then I can't be derailed. I just can't, if that intention is there to stay on track. Doesn't mean I won't have a little sulk for like 5 minutes or something, but I'm not going to be out of action for 3 weeks.
Yeah, total full permission to go and cry into your pillow briefly.
Yeah.
Have a day on Netflix, but get back in the game.
The next one that I wrote down was stepping into service can really help identify your next step. So there are times, like we said, the no will be feedback, but what we haven't touched on is there's sometimes times when I challenge the no. So really stepping into service, what am I seeing in this no here? Am I seeing fear? Am I seeing something else? Is it a genuine no, or is it I want to say yes, but I'm just not there yet? And really slowing down and putting your service pants on can help you identify what the next step is for that person. And sometimes it's going to be just let them go, right? Just be okay with letting them go. And other times it will be dig a little bit deeper, slow it down, spend a bit more time together, take the offer off the table, make them feel safe. So again, it's going to be completely different for every single person that you're in front of, but it's just something that I wanted to share. And the no's are easier to hear the more conversations you have booked in your calendar coming up, right? So if I've got one conversation booked in and I hear a no, it can be like, catastrophe.
I need this.
Yeah, I really needed this one. If you have 20 conversations lined up or 10 conversations lined up in the next couple of weeks, it's like, okay, right? It's like you don't get derailed as often because like, right, who's next? Who's in my world next? And you can refocus a lot quicker. So there's just more abundance feeling when you're doing the work to create those connections and get those sessions booked in. So I wanted to share that. And then this will be a topic for another live, but one to end on is how okay are you at saying no? Because I think there'll probably be something in there worth exploring as well. If you're really uncomfortable at saying no to someone, that whole relationship with the word no, we might surface something fresh and new that you've not seen about yourself yet. But it can also, saying no can demonstrate real leadership. So being comfortable with saying it might actually have an impact on how comfortable you are at hearing it.
Yeah, no, that's one of those things where it's like a doorway to a really awesome conversation around social, professional, and so on, and pleasing, and so on and so forth. I could so easily go in that doorway. We're not going to.
Well, we can come back next week and talk about that. I have no doubt that we'll be talking about that in the extravaganza. Did you want to share just a little bit about that, Sam? Because we start tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hopefully most of you got your invites through the events on here, but if you didn't, we've got an event running. I'm going to say 2 weeks because it's just easier. It's just under 2 weeks. We're running an event starting tomorrow. And I mean, we've shared it already, but I can't say enough how exciting this event is for us. We're going to help you create your vision for this year and step into your vision. So we're actually going to take you from where you're at with your vision and get you into action. And we have some of the world's best coaches. We have our coaches coming in to support us all on this, and you guys to help to coach you. They're there to answer questions. They're there to be with you. And you're going to get to see what masterful coaching, other than obviously me and Lisa, what masterful coaching really truly is. I mean, these guys have been doing this for a long, long time, and they are absolute masters of their craft, and they're coming to spend some time with us. So, if you're thinking that you want to create your goal, your vision, your business this year, there literally could not be a better start than this. I honestly couldn't think of a better start than this. I'm kind of sorry that I wish I'd had when I first started. So, we want to invite you to come along if you've not heard about it. We're going to put the link to the details in the comment section of this live so you can check it out. Do make sure that you sign up, because if you click on the link, you also need to RSVP to say that you're coming, because then we'll send you all the details of it. Yeah. We'll have the links to the calls and the Facebook group and all the other good stuff you'll need to know.
And to be really clear, it's the link that we're going to put in the comment. So if you've RSVP'd to the event and the events page, that doesn't mean that you're in. You're not going to get any details. You have to actually go onto the link that we're sharing and register for the event.
Yeah.
Cool. So we look forward to seeing you in there. If you want to join us, it's going to be awesome. I'm dead excited.
Go and look for those no's. Have fun.
See you next time.